Level 0. This is where venom begins, or more accurately, doesn't. You're walking barefoot on grass, brushing past flowers, ants crawling up your ankle. You feel something. Maybe it stings, maybe it doesn't, but your body doesn't flinch. Not really. This is the zone of harmless bites and non-venomous nudges. Insects that might nip, but don't inject anything. Spiders that bite out of fear, but leave nothing behind but a red dot. This is where the concept of venom exists in theory, but not in practice. The ants on your counter? Harmless. The moth in your bathroom? Passive. The little house spider in the corner? It's got venom, technically, but it's not a weapon. More like a digestive helper for bugs it catches. At this level, venom is background noise, biologically present, behaviorally irrelevant. You'll never know it was there. No burning, no swelling, no inflammation, maybe a faint itch, the kind you forget 5 minutes later. Your immune system doesn't even clock in. This isn't nature attacking, it's nature brushing past you. Level 1. Venom exists, and now you feel it. But just barely. A mosquito's bite doesn't just suck blood, it injects a tiny amount of anticoagulant. Technically, that's venom. Same for a sweat bee sting, a fire ant bite, even some caterpillars with irritating hairs. It's the beginning of real venom, designed to manipulate biology, but not destroy it. The result? Itchiness, mild swelling, annoyance. You slap your arm, rub your neck, maybe curse under your breath, but that's it. The effects last minutes, sometimes hours. You won't remember them tomorrow. Examples at this level are sweat bees, fire ants, single bite, non-aggressive wasps, jumping spiders, or house centipedes. The goal of venom here isn't to kill or even hurt badly, it's to send a message. Back off. A chemical warning shot. What does it feel like? A pinprick, a burn, then a slow fade. Unless you're allergic, there's no real danger, and even then, it's your immune system that overreacts, not the venom's strength. Your body handles this like a mild insult, not an emergency, not a threat, just a tiny disruption in the background rhythm of your biology. Level 2. Pain enters the picture. Still local, still limited, but real. This is where venom takes itself a little more seriously. It's not just about irritation now, it's about creating discomfort, making predators second-guess their next move, making humans think twice before swatting. Examples at this level are wasps, some jellyfish, or velvet ants. You get stung, and suddenly you're aware of every nerve in that area. It burns, it throbs, it radiates outward. It won't kill you, not even close, but you'll remember it. Venom at this level is like an alarm system. It's not designed to ruin your body, just ruin your afternoon. It targets pain receptors, stimulates inflammation, triggers histamines. You might get redness, swelling, and heat. For most people, it's self-limiting. You apply ice, you take ibuprofen, and you wait. But if you're unlucky or allergic, it escalates. Hives, dizziness, shortness of breath. That's not the venom's design. That's your body overreacting to a basic signal. Venom here is still defensive, not offensive. It's about territory and survival, not predation. But it's serious enough that you stop and notice. You squint, you curse, you run for tweezers or antihistamines. This is the level where humans start learning to avoid certain bugs, because once you've been hit by a velvet ant or a paper wasp, you remember. And you don't want a repeat performance. Level 3. This is where venom crosses the threshold from painful to medically significant. The burn lasts longer, the swelling spreads wider, the venom no longer just stays under the skin, it starts affecting nearby systems. You're not dying, but you're not fine either. Examples include lionfish, stonefish, minor stings, tarantula hawks, or large centipedes, like the scolopendra. Now we're dealing with systemic venom, chemicals that can interfere with nerve signals, blood clotting, or muscle control. The pain? Excruciating. The kind of pain that can stop you mid-step, make your vision blur, make you gasp without meaning to. You don't need a hospital, unless you panic or get unlucky, but you do need time and rest, and maybe someone to help carry you. The venom may cause nausea, lightheadedness, weakness in the limb. It's not common, but it happens. The real threat isn't that the venom is lethal, it's that it starts acting like it could be. This is where anti-venom might be recommended. Not because you're dying, but because you're suffering, and the venom is too complex for the body to shrug off quickly. The creatures here aren't trying to kill you, they're just exceptionally good at making you wish they didn't exist. You'll heal, but it might take days or weeks. You'll have a story and a scar to go with it. Level 4. This is the beginning of true danger. Venom that doesn't just hurt, it disrupts. It hijacks nerves, paralyzes muscles, drops blood pressure. In the wrong body or the wrong dose, it kills. You get stung. And it's not just pain, it's systemic collapse in slow motion. Your eyelids twitch, your muscles lock, your heart flutters. You may lose control of limbs, struggle to breathe, vomit without warning, not because of panic, but because the venom is rewriting your biology. And what's happening inside? Neurotoxins block the signals from brain to muscle. Hemotoxins thin the blood or cause internal bleeding. Some venoms open sodium channels and cause constant firing, your body spasms and seizures. This isn't theoretical. People stung by a blue-ringed octopus have been paralyzed within minutes, conscious but unable to move. A bite from a wandering spider can cause priapism, an infamous symptom that's more terrifying than amusing in context. Here the clock starts ticking. You need medical attention, you need anti-venom, you need oxygen. You're not guaranteed to die, not by a long shot. But if you ignore the signs, if you tough it out, your organs won't. This is the level where nature stops bluffing. It's not here to make a point anymore. It's here to take you down. Not out of malice, just instinct. Level 5. Venom becomes a legitimate medical emergency. A single sting or bite, and your life hangs in the balance. Examples at this level include king cobra, deathstalker scorpion, inland taipan, world's most venomous snake, cone snail, full dose, or a box jellyfish, moderate exposure. At this stage, the dose makes a disaster. Venom floods your system, and it doesn't play fair. Symptoms: paralysis, respiratory arrest, blood pressure collapses, multi-organ failure. In the worst cases, cardiac arrest within minutes. You might start with a headache, then blurry vision, then convulsions, then blackout. And still, no wound in sight, just a tiny puncture. That's the scariest part. These aren't maybe effects. They're documented, repeated, studied by scientists and paramedics who've watched victims go down in minutes. Cone snails are nicknamed cigarette snails because after a sting, you've got about enough time left to smoke one. The inland taipan's venom is so potent, it can kill dozens of humans with one bite. Thankfully, it rarely bites anyone. But the king cobra? It bites to kill, not to deter, not to warn. Its venom attacks the central nervous system, and it injects enough to kill an elephant. At this level, survival depends on how fast you get treatment. Anti-venom ventilation, intensive care. No home remedies, no wait and see. You don't walk this off. You don't even stand up. Venom is no longer background noise. It's a full-body scream, and you better answer quickly, or it answers for you. Level 6. This is where venom stops being a threat and becomes a countdown. At this stage, a single sting or bite doesn't just hurt. It initiates a total internal emergency. You may not know it at first. The sting might be subtle. The bite might not even break skin visibly. But within minutes, your body knows, and it starts to fail in quiet, terrifying ways. You may begin with nausea, not the passing kind, the full-body purge, vomiting so violent your diaphragm aches, muscle spasms ripple through your arms and legs, your skin prickles, your vision blurs, and worst of all, your breath shortens, not from panic, but because your muscles are no longer getting the right signals to keep going. This level of venom usually involves powerful neurotoxins, compounds that block communication between your brain and your body. Instead of a message saying breathe, your lungs receive silence. Some venoms act on sodium or calcium ion channels, preventing nerves from firing. Others bind to receptors so tightly that your body can't reset the system. Take the blue-ringed octopus, for example. It's small enough to perch on your thumb, and its bite is barely felt. But it delivers tetrodotoxin, a toxin that paralyzes muscles, including your diaphragm, while leaving you fully conscious. Victims have described lying there, completely alert, but unable to speak, blink, or breathe. Then there's the Irukandji jellyfish, a creature the size of a peanut. Its sting delivers a syndrome so severe it causes back pain, vomiting, severe hypertension, and a crushing feeling of doom. Not poetic doom, clinical doom. Victims often beg for death just to make the symptoms stop. At level 6, you need medical help immediately. Oxygen, anti-venom, cardiovascular support. Because the venom isn't just painful, it's strategic. It disables your body's core systems one by one. Left untreated, the damage may not just be life-threatening, it may become irreversible. Level 7. This is where venom doesn't attack the body, it dismantles it. You've passed through pain, through paralysis. Now, you're in the stage of collapse. This is the point at which venom begins to affect every single system in your body. It's no longer about where you were stung, it's about what's still functioning. At this level, the venom is typically cytotoxic, hemotoxic, or a devastating cocktail of both. Cytotoxins target living tissue, destroying muscle cells, skin, and organs on contact. Hemotoxins destroy blood cells or rupture blood vessels, leading to internal bleeding, clotting disorders, or organ necrosis. A victim bitten by a large pit viper or a boomslang may begin bleeding from the gums, nose, or into their urine. Not because the bite area was affected, but because their blood no longer clots. The venom consumes or blocks clotting factors, leading to a condition called disseminated intravascular coagulation, bleeding and clotting at the same time in the worst possible places. You begin to hemorrhage beneath the skin, bruises erupt without impact, the whites of your eyes turn red with blood, your blood pressure collapses, organs begin to fail, not just from direct venom damage, but because circulation itself is compromised. The venom continues to spread through your lymphatic system, accelerating tissue death. In severe cases, muscle cells disintegrate, releasing proteins like myoglobin into the bloodstream, which then clogs the kidneys, leading to renal failure. And this doesn't happen over days, it happens in hours. You'll likely be hooked up to IVs, oxygen, and machines to track every vital sign. You may need blood transfusions, dialysis, or even surgical debridement to remove necrotic tissue. And still, survival is not guaranteed, not because medicine doesn't know what to do, but because the venom's already done too much. This is the point where the body isn't just fighting venom, it's fighting collapse. Level 8. There is no recovery window here, only delay. At level 8, venom moves faster than medicine. A single bite or sting unleashes such a potent dose that the body is virtually defenseless. This is death in real time, not from neglect, not from ignorance, but from biochemical precision. Here, the dosage is extreme, often several milligrams of venom, enough to kill multiple people. But you received it all, and your body is now the battlefield. The first thing to go is consciousness. You may feel the sting, maybe even cry out, but your brain, deprived of oxygen and flooded with toxins, can't keep up. You may collapse within minutes. Not metaphorically, literally. Respiratory failure sets in quickly. Not only do the muscles that support breathing shut down, but in some cases, the lungs fill with fluid, making even artificial ventilation difficult. The heart begins to spasm irregularly. Ventricular fibrillation or cardiac arrest can occur spontaneously. Cerebral edema may follow, the brain swelling with fluid as blood vessels leak uncontrollably. There have been cases of victims exposed to this level of venom going from conscious to comatose in under 10 minutes, not because of infection, not because of secondary complications, but because the venom was that strong and that fast. Even the skin may betray signs of total failure. Dark discoloration, bullous lesions, or sudden burns may appear, not from external trauma, but from internal cellular breakdown. The body is digesting itself. Doctors here may attempt full life support, oxygen, anti-venom, cardiac stimulants, dialysis. But the reality is grim. When someone reaches level 8, medicine doesn't save them. It prolongs the inevitable and tries to ease the passage. There is no triumph story here, only tragedy, slowed by machines. Level 9. The end comes before the venom even finishes its work. This level doesn't kill you in stages. It ends you in one. Here, venom is not just biologically destructive, it's neurologically instantaneous. a dose so concentrated that it targets your central nervous system directly, bypassing all lower systems. You're stung. You blink. And then the world fractures. You may have time to gasp, to stumble, but you won't get to say a word. Within seconds, your brainstem, the part of your brain responsible for involuntary life functions, begins to shut down. Not slowly, not mercifully, just off. The signals stop, the lungs freeze, the heart rhythm dissolves into chaos. You seize violently, then collapse, limp and unresponsive. Sometimes death arrives before you hit the ground. There are stories, real, verified ones, of victims taking a single bite from highly venomous creatures and being declared clinically dead within 15 to 20 minutes. And this isn't due to trauma or shock. It's because the venom attacked the brain directly. Some of these toxins are so potent they operate in microgram quantities. That's millionths of a gram, enough to stop an adult human's nervous system cold. And even in rare cases where external signs are absent, no rash, no swelling, no discoloration, the autopsy tells the truth. The organs are intact, but the tissues are liquefied. The brain is hemorrhaged. The body is clinically perfect, but functionally erased. You can't treat this, you can't stabilize it, you can only document it. Level 10. This level is theoretical and terrifying. We've never confirmed it in humans, and we hope we never do. Level 10 is the absolute maximum, the hypothetical extreme of Venom's potential. It's not a sting, it's not a bite, it's a biological obliteration. This would be Venom so concentrated, so immediately disruptive, that death occurs before even the most advanced medical team could respond. Imagine a compound engineered to cross the blood-brain barrier instantly, one that unfolds your DNA, collapses your circulatory system, and stops the heart, all before you finish blinking. Some researchers studying synthetic neurotoxins believe this could exist in nature or be designed in labs. It would take less than a second to bind every nerve ending in your body, less than a second to stop your diaphragm, to render your brain silent, to wipe every memory, every breath, every heartbeat. We're talking about death faster than drowning, faster than cardiac arrest, faster than electrocution. A perfect dose, a perfect kill, with no pain, no symptoms, no second chance. If this venom exists, it hasn't been documented, but that doesn't mean it can't. Nature, after all, is still experimenting. This is why we fear venom. Not because we see it, but because we know it's still evolving. And with this, we come to the end of our video. Keep supporting and loving our content. Stay tuned for the next upload.